Location, and we are here at Matsuricon 2013 with David Vincent.
Hello.
How did you first get into the world of voice acting, David?
I got into the world of voice acting about 16 years ago. I was doing stand-up and sketch comedy in New York City. And I was doing a sketch where in a little club in Times Square, and I was making fun of TV commercials, so I was doing like 1,000 different voices. And I had a lady come up to me after one of my shows and hand me her business card, and she's like, "That was great. Here's my card. You need to call me." And turns out that she was an ad exec on Madison Avenue. She hooked me up with my first voiceover agent, and I went out for my first audition, voiceover audition, for a radio commercial for Rolling Rock beer, and I booked it. And that's actually how I got my start in the world of voiceover. As far as anime, though, to be a little more specific, you know who Steve Bloom is?
Yeah.
So Steve and I have got the same agent, and he looked at me one day when we were auditioning for a radio commercial, and he goes, "Hey Dave, yeah man, you ever do any anime?" "No, never done any anime." "You should do anime." "Cool, man, thanks." And so he gave me a gentleman's card, and that's actually how I started in the world of anime.
All right, wonderful. Now, you have played in the series Bleach.
Yes.
Can you share with us your experiences on being a part of this massive series?
Absolutely. Being a part of Bleach to me was just a thrill. It's such a great series, and there's just so many different levels to it. And the character that I got to play is Grimjow Jaggerjack, who is, to me, I had found out about him in the video game when I played him in the video game first. And when I played him in the video game, I was like, "Oh my God, I have got to play this character in the anime when it comes out." So I wound up bugging the casting director for about a year and a half because he didn't come out into the anime until much later than the video game. So I wound up bugging them for about a year and a half and wound up still having an audition for him, but I won the role. And it was, for me, just a thrill. It's such a great series, so many different levels to it, and I was just thrilled to be a part of it.
Wonderful. Now, what mindset did you have when you were playing the lead in Gun X Sword, which I believe was your first role, one of your first roles?
Yes, Vaughn of the Dawn, was my first leading role in an anime series. And, I worked with, just, in my opinion, one of the best directors in the industry. His name is Liam O'Brien. And Liam directed me in that, and being my first role, he really played an integral part in really guiding me through that character. The mindset that you get in is you have to get into this character. I'm like, oh my gosh, and without giving away any spoilers to the anime series, if those of you haven't seen it, he has his bride killed, and he's filled with a lot of rage and melancholy at the same time. So just sinking into that throughout that series, I think played a pretty integral role into creating a believable character and really breathing life into, in my opinion, one of the coolest characters I've ever had a chance to play.
All right, wonderful. Now, can you tell us about your work in NCIS and Criminal Minds and the differences that you experience in portraying live-action roles versus being behind the booth and voice acting?
Absolutely. A lot of folks don't know. I do on camera as well, and shows like NCIS and The Mentalist and shows like that. I just co-star and guest starring roles. And the difference between voice acting as opposed to doing on-camera acting or doing stage acting is with stage and with TV and film, you get to use your whole body to convey what's happening, to embrace what's happening, and to communicate what's happening. When you're behind the microphone and it's just you behind that microphone, it's up to you to create a character and to give that believability, all while staying on a little microphone like that. Sorry if I blew you out, but you're having it literally. You're in a little box with a microphone right here, and you're still moving around, but you can't. You have to stay on that microphone, so you're a little more confined. And it's a little more of a challenge because you have to evoke all those emotions, and you can't use your face, you can't use your body to convey these emotions. It's only your voice. So there's a big difference between being able to actually do something on stage or on screen as opposed to voice acting behind a microphone.
All right. Now, not only anime, but in the world of video games, you've played a lot of roles.
Yes.
And you've played in some very big properties. Halo 4, for instance.
Yes.
What was it like being a part of the Halo franchise?
Well, for me, obviously Halo is such a big franchise that when I found out that I got the role in to play one of the soldiers in Halo, I was thrilled. Getting to go in and work on a franchise that big, to me it was icing on the cake for what we do, because as actors, as voice actors, our jobs, our day-to-day jobs, it's 99% auditions, 1% work. And when you land a role in a franchise that big, to me it really is, it's just gravy. It's very exciting.
All right, wonderful. Now, when you're voicing video games, do you have a different mindset when you are voicing a character in a fighting game? I know there's a lot of energy and a lot of projection that you have to do, and it's very taxing on your voice when you have to go through all of the different, inflections for those different moves. What's that like?
Well, when you're doing a fighting game, as opposed to, say, like I did a character Richard in Tales of Grace's F. And that, it's much more character-driven and acting. Say the difference between like doing martial law in Tekken, and with that, a fighting game, it's a lot, a lot of ha, hoo, ha, and with that, it's just a lot more of getting into that zone of delivering the strikes and whatnot, less the storytelling mode.
All right. Now, is LA the place to be given the career that you're involved in? Not just in live acting, obviously, but in voice acting, is LA a thriving hub for that?
LA is definitely one of the major hubs if you want to do animation, if you want to do video games, things like that. We as voice actors, many of us, also do a lot of radio commercials and TV commercials and things like that. You don't necessarily have to be in Los Angeles to do that. With technology today, you can be in Iowa and do a radio commercial for a client in Atlanta, which is wonderful. But for doing animation and for doing video game work, Los Angeles is definitely going to be one of the major hubs that you want to be in.
All right, sounds great. Is there any way fans can keep up with you through an online presence like Twitter, Facebook? Any methods of those communication?
Absolutely. The best way that you guys can keep in touch with me is go to my Facebook, facebook.com/DavidVincentVA. The VA is for voice actors, so facebook.com/DavidVincentVA. And you can feel free to friend me on there. Also, I've got a fan club that is run by Michelle Tan, Roy, and Jocelyn. And they run a lovely club. It's called David Vincent's Windor Panthers. And you can go ahead and join that. And what's really cool about that is I do giveaways where I'll sign wall scrolls, posters, pictures, and whatnot. And just fun little contests with prizes. And it's just a lot of fun.
All right, sounds wonderful. Do you have any final messages you'd like to get to the fans watching out there?
Absolutely. Thank you guys for doing what you do, because doing what you do allows us to do what we do. And one of my favorite parts about coming to conventions is actually getting to meet the fans of what we do, because it's a thrill to go in and actually do the work itself. But when you get to actually go in and meet people that appreciate it, it's brilliant.
All right, David Vincent, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.